a message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one. that's gonna
Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome
away.
back to Veterans Minimum, the #1 sports betting vibe on the internet, live in studio here at the Win. Your boy, Nick Dais here. The man to my left with the shiesty on, looking super duper New York City Dominican right now.
Sí, ya tú sabes, papi. Mira. Boom. But it's funny because it's, God forbid, a white boy gets a little motion Baker Mayfield day. I can't wear I don't know how people do these shiesties, if I'm being honest. And if you aren't watching on YouTube and the Your Welcome Network, what are you doing? Junior had given me this. It was his final game this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Senior night for the boys. So he has never I mean, I feel like I've gotten gloves and shit from him, but I have no use, right? But a shiesty I have use for. I can make content with this. The first person I'll impersonate is a Dominican from New York City. So
Yeah, super bodega vibes. Shout out to all the Dominicans in New York City. I used to wear those all the time, bro, when I was like younger, because in like New York, you know, to get around in the wintertime, you would wear some shit like that.
right?
You know what I mean? But now people wear it like in the summer to look tough, and you're like, you're crazy.
Bro, yeah. I mean, it was tough during COVID. Like, if you had a shiesty on during COVID, that was an all-time mask to be wearing because, you know, there's so much swag behind it. And, yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm a shiesty owner. I'm a shiesty owner, and I'm excited about it. But, Nick, I have a crazy story from the weekend.
Yeah, tell me, bro.
It was junior senior night, so I just want to give a quick shout-out to my brother who has gone 50 consecutive Division I starts playing the offensive line. And it was the first time this past weekend that he had ever gone to the medical tent. Talk about an all-time scare, by the way. I mean, we all know what the end goal is. So any injury at this point in time is like catastrophic. And third quarter, he got rolled up on and we were stunned. You know, he was on the floor laying down. He ends up going to the tent. Long story short, he makes it out of the tent. He finishes the game. He comes in the next drive. He was fine, right? They shot up his ankle with Toradol and everything. But I asked him after the game, I was like, how is the tent? Because Nick and I looked it up earlier on this season. We looked up, why is the tent blue? And at Arkansas, the tent is black. So I was like, this is weird. The reason why it's blue is because blue is supposed to calm you down in a you know, panic type situation if you're injured and, you know, they need to snap your shoulder back into place. Blue's supposed to calm you down. Black, I don't think does that. But not only that, Nick, what he told me that I feel is going to shock the shit out of every listener in the world is that they don't have a light system or light setup in there. So all they have is like one of those camping lanterns. So it's pitch black. My brother's ankle got twisted up, right? So they're with a camping lantern down at the bottom of his ankle, moving it around his ankle like we're in the 1800s, and you know they're about to have to amputate his leg. It's Nick, isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
No lights, just a lantern, and two doctors, you know, studying your body. Creepy.
Jesus. I never would have guessed that. I thought it'd be, you know, got like
Some light bar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you need like a full-blown like light setup, but you definitely shouldn't just be using a lantern to be able to see around the fucking medical tent. So that was crazy. I wanted it to share it to everybody because it's the insider football, that shit that people don't necessarily get to see the inner workings of, and pretty disappointed in this one, if I'm being honest. I figured we'd be a little better. Maybe a flashlight.
yeah,
Like a lantern is just so old school. It's crazy.
yeah, but he's good though. Like
He's
everything
good.
was all right.
He's good. He was walking around. He's currently has his toes in the sand in Mexico. He's going to relax for this week, and then it's on to NFL draft prep. Senior Bowl first. Senior Bowl, January 31st, and then Combine.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That's
Yeah.
dope. I can't wait. I'm excited for that. Hopefully our boy gets his name called. That'd be sensational. I've never been at a draft party, so I'm looking forward to it. I want to be at a draft party, selfishly, you know.
Hey, you're invited.
Yeah. Fuck
You're
yeah,
invited.
I am.
We're not going to do like cordial invites. I think it'll just be if we tell you to be there. I mean, you got it. That's one invitation you almost can't say no to. Like, what excuse would you give? Like, okay,
Bro, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a more prestigious invite than like a baptism.
Yes, 1,000%.
Or can I one up it? A
Go.
fucking wedding.
I was gonna say wedding.
Bro, listen.
I was gonna say
I've been to a bunch of weddings. I've had a bunch of friends get married. Ain't nobody get drafted. I could be in the background like, yeah, let's go. You know,
Yes,
when
yes.
he fucking protects Jackson Dart. You know what I'm saying? The following year, I've never been to it. So yeah, if I had the option,
right.
yo, your boy's gonna get drafted. Can you be at the draft party or like my cousin's wedding? Fuck that, bro.
Yeah, there's no excuse you can give.
No way.
Zero excuse.
No way. You can't miss that. I'm excited for that. I'm looking forward to it. Something else over the weekend. Well, for me, my weekend was, I've been battling this cold. I think I might have a staph on my neck.
Damn.
Yeah, so I've been dealing with like treatments and shit, a bunch of shit like that. That's why, I'm a little banged up looking, but I'm a trooper. I get things done. Over the weekend, my old high school, baby. Shout out to Bryant High School, the 2A PSAL football champions. Shout out to Queen. Shout out to Coach Brosnan, one of my GOATs. The reason why I love football, because of him and this program. That's my boy Vinny, head coach, holding the trophy right there. Shout out to the Mets as always. But bro, Bryant, my old high school, Vinny was the quarterback before I got there. Right? Vinny was always the older kids in the friend group. And by older, meaning 2 years. He was a senior. I was a sophomore. And I inherited his team. We went to the playoffs. We had a 9-1 record. I lost the playoff game. I played like shit. We had never won a playoff game. We had never won a city championship. I had made a promise after they let go of Coach Hernandez and Coach Brosnan, my two coaches. I was like, I will never go back to this high school again. Because they brought in some fucking loser square. I never met him. I apologize, but you wasn't gang. You wasn't an owl, bro. And then when Vinny Donato, he came back and he started coaching the program. And boy, did he turn it around. At one point, Max Preps had us as like the 5th worst team in the country.
That's by the way, crazy stat, but you're close to the end of either good or bad. Impressive. That is impressive.
Bro, super impressive to turn it around. And I believe they went 7-1 this year. But who the fuck cares what they went? Because they knocked off the 1 seed, the 2 seed. They won the championship, first one. And it was dope because I was watching it on YouTube. Shout out to my boy Steph. He was over there too. I was texting him. I was like, yo, this is crazy. So many alumni. So a lot of the old school alumni are now back supporting the program because like one of our guys is there. So I was so fucking happy, man. It was so ill to like just see Vinny be able to bring it home. Like we wanted one of our own to fucking bring it back. You know what I mean? So shout out to Bryant High School. Shout out to the Owls. Congratulations once again. And celebrate, yo. Y'all made history. That shit is super fire. I'm getting chills. You know what I mean? Because I'm forever indebted to that school. Because of that dude that you saw over there, Coach Brosnan with the glasses. Talk to him to this day. He's the reason why I fell in love with football. And from that, I quit playing soccer. And one thing led to another. And now my whole career is built off the love that I have for this sport.
Damn.
That I played with him. So, we talked about this a while back. How, like, I feel like I'm really lucky as far as the people that I've had in my life that have made me fall in love with things. Coach Brosnan with football. What if Vinny never told me, like, yo, bro, go be the quarterback. They're going to need a quarterback. You know what I mean? And then, like, obviously Sergio with jiu-jitsu. So, don't want to get too sentimental, but it was a good weekend.
I'd feel the same way if my team, my old high school, won a state championship. They got close a couple of times after I had left, but I mean, that's a surreal feeling, bro. And then also for the person that was the quarterback before you to win a state title at where you once played, I mean, that puts you in rare air as far as, accomplishments of that magnitude. And yeah, so shout out to the Owls.
Shout out to the Owls, and as always, shout out to Queens, baby. Queens got a chip.
Got it done.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it done.
All right, George, we got a lot to catch up on.
Yes, we do.
We did 2 sets of picks.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Thanksgiving, we gave out the Thanksgiving slate, and then we gave out week 13. So just want to update everyone. 35, 31, and 2. 35, 32, and 2, because at the time of recording, I don't think the Giants are going to cover the 7.5, but we'll see. We'll see. That game is being played right now. We will see as we go on. But I had a pretty good weekend. Thanksgiving was great.
Yes.
Anytime touchdown on Thanksgiving kind of took a hit, but bounced back with week 13, still up over 20 units for the NFL season, anytime touchdown. And then, George, you got your record over here as well. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm 34, 37, and 1. And it was a big weekend. My Jamison Williams legacy game play for my Trust Me, which started out 0-6 this year, is now back to 5-9. Jamison Williams legacy game parlay was plus 450. And Nick, oh my God, bro. The other client I manage had me editing clips that we needed to post on Thanksgiving after they said that I wasn't going to be working on Thanksgiving. So I didn't get a chance to put in the same game parlay. I may or may not have kicked a hole in my door. I was that frustrated. And I mean, I'll post it on the stories tomorrow. So if you follow VM on Instagram, you'll see the fucking hole that I kicked in the door because I didn't get a chance to capitalize on my brilliant plus 450. I just got plus 250.
Unbelievable.
I went heavy with the units, and then it was what it was. But it didn't go through. It just dented the door pretty significantly.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit. I want to start with Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And I think the biggest takeaway from Thanksgiving for me was obviously the Dallas Cowboys beating the Kansas City Chiefs 31-28. George, Dallas is now 6-5-1, and if you factor in that the Eagles lost to the Bears at home, toxic one was Philadelphia. We told you to stay away. Dallas is now 2 games back. I think Dallas needs to win the division to make the playoffs.
Yep.
That's the only downside to that, because if you look at the playoff hunt, you got the Seahawks with 9 wins. You got one of the Packers or Bears with 8 or 9 wins.
Yep.
Right? Depending on how that plays out. Them two play each other this week. Then you got the Niners with 9 wins. You got to try to win the division if you're Dallas in order to be able to make the playoffs.
Yep.
But, man, right now they are playing at a really, really high level. Pickens balling. Probably one of the best offseason moves. Him and Devontae Adams, 1A, 1B, as far as wide receivers going to new teams and absolutely lining it up. But Dallas's defense is really the key. Quinnen Williams, team high 6 pressures and 2 run stuffs. And this defense, this is really important because it happened in the Cincinnati game as well. We made the joke a couple weeks ago about how, Logan Wilson goes from the 32nd worst defense to the 31st worst defense. It's like, well, now you need to start factoring in how good the Dallas defense has been in the last 3 weeks with these additions. It was just one game for the Bengals. I don't want to get too crazy, but they did play well against New England as well.
Yep.
Right? They weren't being a pass funnel and everyone was just running wild against them. So moving forward, this is where you got to start looking at teams like they're getting hot. It's post-Thanksgiving. How are teams playing? Right?
The Nealon effect is still definitely having, resonance on the team. I agree with you. I had said it last week. Dak Prescott to win MVP, 100-1. If he goes crazy here, that number will be cut in half. And Nick, it was cut more than just in half. It went from 100-1 to now on DraftKings, it's 11-1. So if you were a Cowboys fan and you tailed it at the right time, you know, God bless you, because if they do make a strong push, Matt Stafford had a rough week for his MVP case, and you just keep stacking these meaningful wins, and you know you're going to lead all the shows on ESPN. 11-1 still is an appetizing number, but that's what you get on the second half of the season, like you're saying, where you kind of have to wipe the slate clean. And one of these teams that is currently out of the playoff picture is going to make a run, and they're probably going to be a team that I bet on first week of the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like right now, you can get Dallas at 60-1 to win the Super Bowl. But this Thursday, first of all, week 14 as a whole, banger matchups, really good football. And dare I say, to channel the inner wrestling fan in me, a lot of loser leaves town matches.
Yep.
Cowboys going to Detroit, right? Lions 3-point favorite right now. Two teams buying for playoff positioning. I think whoever loses this might be out. Maybe you get, if you're Dallas, you still have some life if like Philly loses, because they play the Chargers this week, I believe, if I remember correctly.
You are.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Football.
On Monday Night Football. Yeah. So like, but Herbert banged up his hand too. We'll get into that in a little bit. So Cowboys next 5 games. Well, last 5 games. At Detroit, home Minnesota, home Chargers, at Washington, at Giants. Right? So, and they're second in the NFC East. Philly is 8-4, Cowboys 6-5-1. That tie might come into play a significant role. So, to me, I think the way Dallas is playing right now, they are hot. And that offense is borderline impossible to stop. And you got to judge them based off what you've seen the last 3 weeks. Remember, bro, they beat the defending Super Bowl champs, and they beat the league staple. Like the league, what's the word?
Yeah, the face of it.
The face of the league, yeah, in Kansas City. So, yeah, that was a really impressive win, man. What else stood out to you on Thanksgiving?
Oh man, let's hop straight into the Packers. They can't keep getting away with it over the Lions. They beat them 31-24, and the reason why I say they can't keep getting away with it, it's more like Jordan Love can't keep getting away with his quarterback play. And I know I'm going to get shit for it because he was outstanding. The one-on-one matchups that they had on big time 3rd and 4th downs where he's fading away and throwing it were completed. But I promise you, that will be the death of the Packers. If those throws aren't completed and you see him fading away off his back foot in a playoff game, or remember the run that they made 2 years ago against the 49ers, he has a chance to win the game late. And what does he do on a 2nd down? He throws it across his body to the middle of the field for an interception, and it ended the Packers playoff run. That is what I mean. It's cool in the regular season, bro. It really is. It sucks to see because I'm not a big Packers guy. Micah Parsons is absolutely unreal. This Lions offensive line is way more banged up than we thought initially.
Dude, they went to get Ragnow out of retirement and he failed his physical.
There's like, it's crazy the decline that they're, you know, what was their best unit. You see it with the Eagles and you're seeing it with the Lions too, where this offensive line, when it's not fully intact, Jahmyr Gibbs can only do so much. He makes you look really good, but in reality, your protection of Jared Goff is shit. And Micah Parsons, 10 QB pressures. He generated pressures on 38.5% of his pass rushes, his highest in a game since his rookie season. So he's full form. That side of the ball for the Packers is good. I'm just telling you, be very, very cautious at the way that you cheer for some of the throws that Jordan Love makes, because you're going to motherfuck him in about 5 weeks, and I don't want to hear it. That's the game that I wanted to cover next.
Yeah, and they were nearly perfect on 3rd and 4th down. Were the Green Bay Packers. I think the one thing that stood out to me a lot was Christian Watson. I think he's emerging as that real, not only deep threat, but main target. We've always talked about the Packers, how, it's dope to have a bunch of number 2 and 3 wide receivers. Like everyone's a 1A is how they would describe it. But then it's like, well, 3rd and 7, who am I going to?
Right.
He got 10 targets last game. Coming off a 7-target game the week before, scored a touchdown. I think he's emerging as that guy that they once spent a relatively high draft pick on him. And we know how explosive he is down the field. I think he's starting to build even more of a chemistry with Jordan Love. I think they're going to be
a team to be afraid of in the playoffs. They're going to be just
up and down, bro.
I'm telling you, I'm just going to keep fading
catch them.
Yeah. I'm gonna ride it the rest of the year. I'm fading Green Bay's success. I don't give a fuck. I think once they are forced to come back and play in situations that aren't favorable to them, it'll be exposed. Now we can talk. You want to talk about the final game of that Thanksgiving slate? Bengals throttle the Ravens 32-14, and Joe Burrow's comeback. Joe Burrow throws for 261 yards. Jamar Chase 110 receiving yards. They doubled him, and they couldn't stop him. When I watch games like that, in the moment, I can't think of another receiver that can do what he's doing. I really can't. And I'm CeeDee Lamb's, the George Pickens, the AJ Bryant. No. He's one of one, bro. And I'm glad that I did not cash out on my Bengals at 80-1 to win the AFC, because they're still in the graphic, motherfucker. That in the hunt graphic, as long as they're in it, I will not cash out the ticket, or I won't really be able to. Anyways, but how did you feel about that game?
It just upsets me that they lost that Bears and Jets game, bro. Because once again, they're sitting at 4-8. It's basically where they were last year, and then they got hot at the end of the year. Now, silver lining is last year they were trying to catch other teams in the wild card, where this year you're trying to catch your division. Now, they're only 2 games back, and the division is really interesting because Pittsburgh is falling apart. The Ravens don't look as good.
Right.
It's going to come down to Steelers-Ravens play each other twice. Then the Bengals have that game against Baltimore in Cincinnati. But if you're the Bengals, it's this week. You play Buffalo this week. You're a 6.5-point underdog. Early Monday winner. I just love taking the Bengals as a dog. You too?
Of course. There's there's 2 teams that fit that profile for our Monday winners. There's 2 6-point underdogs that I'm almost certain they can win outright, but the Bengals are one of them.
I mean, bro, that and also just Joe Burrow as an underdog in his career is covering about 75% of the games. So it's just one of those plays where if you're getting points with Burrow,
that's an auto play.
And this is awfully reminiscent when they played them in the playoff game a couple of years ago in Buffalo. It was snowing. And I remember being so adamant that, they're winning outright and they're catching 6.
Was that the throw game, the pre-game where he threw it in the snow and did the spin around?
The spin around.
Uh-oh.
It was written then. So it really comes down to that game, though. It comes down to this week because that's really the key to the whole season for them. And if you're Buffalo, you need this game too. You know what I mean? You need this game too. So Bengals schedule, right? They play at Buffalo, then home Ravens, at Miami, home Cardinals, home Browns. Man, if you could get through this gauntlet, these next 2, if you get through these next 2 and you're Cincinnati, you have a legitimate chance at the playoffs.
Yep.
By winning your division. And then think about it, bro. When we made the proposal to bet the Bengals when we did, was when we got word that he was going to come back around this time. And we were looking at the schedule Bears, it's going to be at home, winnable. Can't lose to the Jets. Now, they lost some of the games we thought were going to be wins.
Yep.
It's still there. And then imagine you got to play Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Imagine Kansas City having to go into Cincy now.
Okay, can I have to ask you this. This win versus the Ravens, how much weight do you give it? Or do you think the Ravens have been a mid-team from the beginning of the year and they were never that powerful? Because the way that people have been talking about the Ravens up until this week has been like, should have fucking got on the train when they were 1-5. Like, what aren't you guys doing? You guys aren't listening to us. Lamar's going to come back. He's going to go on a run. And he does. But I feel like Joe Burrow and the Bengals absolutely silenced them on their home turf in a standalone primetime game. Like, this is, to me, this is the statement enough. And next week, if they beat the Bills, well, it'll feel the same exact way, bro. Because the Bills have been that team where it's like, oh, they're just kind of trying to hope they can make it in a wild card spot. Well, just be very careful with these Bengals.
Nah, for sure, man. And then also, look, Ravens play home Steelers this week, at Cincinnati, home Patriots.
Oh my God.
They're going to be going for a 1 seed. Drake May's going to be going for MVP. At Green Bay, at Pittsburgh. So it's there. It's there. And then, of course, you know, there's nothing you can make it a Steelers, at least for me. I just think like they're completely falling apart. The offense looks slow and sluggish. You know, I know we weren't going to lead with that, but since we're talking about that right now, like, I mean, bro, just abysmal. Like this offense is so bad. It just looks gross. It looks ugly. It doesn't look exciting. Like, where's DK Metcalf at, bro? What is, like, Rodgers, his hand is hurt, but the offense just looks slow. TJ Watt is making all this money, and I believe he has 6 games this year where he has no pressures on the quarterback. They're just an old, decrepit defense. They're doing fire Tomlin chants.
Yeah.
This might be the year he don't go above 500.
And they started off so promising.
Yeah.
It was only a month and a half ago. And that's crazy to say that we were like, oh, this Steelers team is scary. And the smelling salts with Rodgers, and like we were all buying into the bullshit. But I agree with you. I don't necessarily think it's as much of a Mike Tomlin problem as it is an Arthur Smith problem. And I plan on doing, if I do any video for this channel, it is going to be a why Arthur Smith should never be allowed to call any offense in the NFL until he figures out how to coach in college. That's going to be the video. You're welcome. I mean, that's the trailer that I'm going to run at the beginning of this because it's his issue. There's no fucking excuse, bro. That offense looks soft.
Yeah.
And predictable. And the only cool thing has been Darnell Washington every once in a while. It scares the shit out of people because he's 6'8", 320 pounds running at 5'10" safeties. It's the only cool part about that offense.
And then, bro, if you think about also just defensively, right? Bills without 2 tackles. Oh, shit, the pass rush. TJ Watt. They gashed them on the ground.
Yep.
Most rushing yards since 1975 that Pittsburgh has given up. Ironically enough, to the Buffalo Bills in 1975.
Crazy shit.
But like they just, you know, James Cook got going. He went crazy. Tied the NFL record this year for most carries for a running back with 32. Bro, he just went nuclear. And then Josh Allen does the Josh Allen stuff. But to me, it was the offense of Pittsburgh just looking really sloppy, once again, looking really slow. And I think they're just in a bad place right now. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a fire sale. And their schedule, look, they play at Baltimore this week. They play the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, which, by the way, Miami, 5-7. Just quiet. Fired the GM. They're playing. Achane is having a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Right. He's keeping them in games. They're playing very well. They haven't given up on the season. Then they play at at Detroit, at Cleveland, and then home to the Ravens to end the year. Might be below 500 is all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's going to be that battle. Rodgers with the broken nose or whatever the fuck is going on with his nose. That's like I don't know if he did. What if he did it to himself, like just on purpose to look a little more Pittsburgh tough? I mean, I know it's a stretch. I don't know how it happened, but that when I saw his press conference and I saw him with 2 cuts on his nose, I'm like, oh, bro, you're reaching right now. You played like shit and you're trying to fucking get some sympathy votes for us to make you think that you're playing tough. You're playing like shit. Honestly, I think this team should be coached exclusively on offense by Aaron Rodgers. I think they would have a better outcome at this point. It's clearly not working. Yeah. That's all I had for that game.
Yeah, Buffalo just 8-4, staying afloat.
Yep.
Don't know what to make of them. Week to week, it just feels like a roller coaster. The only thing I will say about Buffalo is this is the time of year where they do start to put things together and get hot. So we'll wait and see. But there's going to be a banger game this week when they play Cincinnati. I think the biggest storyline of Week 13, my LA Rams.
Boy, oh boy.
Boy, was I right.
Yep.
But I hate that I was right.
Yeah.
I predicted it. The Panthers won, said money line plus 500. I loved the 11. They were the Becky. This is one thing that I never did in the past. I'd be so married to my futures that I'm like, nah, I need them to. It's like, no, this was a bad spot. 6-game winning streak. Carolina looked bad on Monday Night Football. Got to travel East Coast. Matthew Stafford MVP, blowing smoke up their asshole. It just had a lot of red flags being signaled left and right. And look, bro, Carolina, we said Carolina to win the division a couple weeks ago. They're a game back. They got some impressive wins this year. All right? They got some impressive wins this year. They beat Dallas at home. They won at Green Bay. They won in Atlanta. All right, I take that back. They beat the Rams, right? But then they also have the head-scratching losses too, right? Like they lose to Buffalo, head-scratching in the sense where they get their shit punched in.
Yep.
They lose to the Saints at home,
which
was also head-scratching. But you look at the rest of their season, they got the bye excuse me. They got the bye week. Then they got at New Orleans. Then they got Tampa, Seattle at home, and then at Tampa. So it's going to come down to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come down to that. But I think the biggest story here was obviously the LA Rams were just in a super duper trap game. Matthew Stafford had his worst game of the season. After 28 straight touchdowns, he threw an interception in the red zone. It did get tipped in the end zone, but still a pick. And then he threw a pick 6, I believe it was, that he threw in that game as well. Him and Drake May still 1-2 significant favorites. I'm not panicking. It's not a Bijan Robinson situation where he had that one game and then it's like he's 150-1. Like, no,
Facts.
It's going to come down to it. Look, they got 2 games against the Cardinals. They got that primetime Thursday Night Football game in Seattle, Thursday Night Football. And then they got the Atlanta Falcons. So there's some potential there to still pad his stats. And his stats are significantly better than Drake May's. It's going to come down to, like, who kills it over these next 4 games.
Yeah.
What it's going to come down to. The biggest concern that I had for the Rams is defensively, they kind of look soft, bro. 2 fourth-down touchdowns they gave up.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
No, I agree with you. And I think that's hear me out. This is my full analysis of that game. The Panthers are capable of playing a perfect game. And they did it versus the Packers, and they did it again versus the Rams. No need to panic. Zero need to panic. This was a shootout. An absolute shootout after you've fucked up and made mistakes. So if anything, you were just spot on with the getting 10 points at home in the biggest game that the Panthers have experienced in the last 6 years. Like it was the spot to fade any team coming in there. I think that the Panthers also, like if you're going to be worried about anything, those 4th down conversions were whatever, but this Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle combination. I came up with something. It's super pause, but the Chubb is Rico. The Chubb is muy rico pausa, because it is Spanish with the Rico. But 35 carries, 133 yards. They've been doing this week in and week out. Rico especially carrying the load. If they're able to continue that and take the workload off of Bryce Young, they can make this happen. But as soon as the game does not flip in their favor and it's not perfect, this Panthers team is pedestrian.
I mean, they kind of remind me of Chicago.
Yeah. Even though man, is that the next one we can?
I want to tie two things into one, right?
Go ahead.
Because there's a lot of history between these two teams. Remember, this was the trade that brought Bryce Young in and then led to Caleb Williams. Both young quarterbacks. They have an explosive wide receiver in Roma Dunze. Explosive-ish. You know, he's been quiet the last couple of weeks. T-Mac, right? Big play guy for them. But their identity is, these running backs got to get 30 touches combined. Let's control the pace. That's what we want. That's why I see similarities. I think Carolina is in the same situation as the Dallas Cowboys. They cannot make the playoffs as a wild card team. Because again, right now, as currently constructed, 9 wins for the Seahawks, 8-3-1 for the Packers, 9-4 for the 49ers. You got to catch Tampa Bay if you're Carolina. You're 7-6, they're 7-5. You got your bye week, you play them twice. So now they're plus 250 to win the division. We said plus 700 a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And then the same thing with Dallas. Like Dallas, you're 6-5-1. You're not going to make a wild card. You got to try to catch Philly. So I think both of those teams are really interesting because to me, they remind me of one another a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a very good analysis, and I am starting to buy more stock into Caleb Williams. I think he's better than Bryce Young. I'll stand on that, but it took a while to get to that point. Caleb's one of those guys where the situation has to be almost ideal, and he looks like a superstar.
Bro, listen, Caleb this year, 27 touchdowns. 17 touchdowns. He has 2,700 passing yards is what I want to say. 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. They're currently the 1 seed. Does it look crazy every time they win? Because it's always some crazy comeback in the second half? Yeah. Does he have a lot of throws where you're like, what the fuck was that, dude? Number 1 overall pick you went? But Ben Johnson, new coach bump. They're playing well, and I think that Philly win was like, oh,
we're this good.
Yeah, we can hang, bro. For a young team, we can hang. We went into Philly, primetime game. I know it was at noon, standalone game, and they delivered, bro. That was a big test. Like, to me, that's a big test for Chicago that tells me, all right, I was ready to bet against you in the playoffs. Now, maybe, let's see. Let's wait and see. They were my division winner to come into the year.
Yep.
Right? So I'm not shocked by this. The thing that is shocking is how they're running the ball and how obvious sometimes it looks like they're running and they still are effective.
That's Ben Johnson.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
That's the difference. And when I tell you how big is this win, we've been waiting for the Ben Johnson moment, and we got it. When you take your shirt off in the locker room after a win, that's your version of we're going to bite their kneecaps off. He took his moment and he ran with it, and he did it at a point in time in the season where it made the most sense. Like, this is how good of a coach Ben Johnson is. He's willing to pause on this, but blow his load early. When you're a coach, bro, what are you going to do now? Take your shirt off every time we win? It had
to matter.
That's what I mean by, like, this game meant that much for this man to publicly embarrass himself. But he's been working hard in the gym. There's a lot of fat coaches in the NFL. He scared a lot of NFL coaches when he did that. I think it was more so less of firing up the team and more of intimidating the rest of the league. And it worked. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody. How do you take this whole Kevin Patullo house being egged? The Eagles offensive coordinator.
I think that's just Philly.
It's pretty badass. There was a dude, I'm going to shout him out on Twitter, Kevin C. Manahan, he tweeted, it was a quote tweet. Jalen Hurts is not a suspect, cop said, because too many eggs hit their target.
Oof.
That was a good one. It only had 74 impressions, but when I saw it, I was like,
75 now.
75 and a retweet. You're welcome. But this is Philly at its finest, 8-4, wanting to fire everybody. This is just the recipe. And I think when you are the big dog and the champ, this is the way that people are going to come at you and treat you and, wear it with a badge of honor and respect. And I think they're a better 8-4 team and situation than the Bills are. Like, I still think that they're really comfortable in the NFC, even though that this game, it highlighted that they weren't the cream of the crop in the regular season. You're going to get everybody's best shot. And if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm not worried. That's
I think the teams that should be worried, if you're a Colts fan,
be very worried.
Houston, 20-16 win. Houston's defense, phenomenal. I mean, I think they have a better defense than Denver.
Yeah.
I think they have the best defense in the league. It's them, Seattle, and Denver is like your top three. I would go with Houston. Every level of the defense, they have an all-pro. Will Anderson, he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year because Myles Garrett's probably going to break the sack record. He's really close to it. But, bro, on a week-to-week basis, he might be the best defensive player that I've seen this year. Him and, like, Christian Gonzalez. It's like, damn, that's an impact, bro.
Right.
And look, their defense, that was the number one scoring defense. And because of this win for the Texans, now they have won 4 games in a row. CJ Stroud came back. Colts have lost 2 games in a row. They're 8-4. And on top of the AFC South are the Jacksonville Jaguars that are 8-4. And like, I like Houston of all the teams.
Yeah.
I trust CJ Stroud more. CJ Stroud's not going to fuck it up for you.
Correct.
Trevor Lawrence, when he drops back, I'm like, what's going to happen? Daniel Jones, how bad is Anthony Richardson? And I know he had the resistant bands snapped and he has like the orbital issue. So I don't mean to pick on him. But like, even though I'm picking on him right now, how bad is the QB situation behind Daniel Jones that they're running him out there with a broken fucking fibula? Yeah. Bro, he looks awful.
Yeah.
It looked bad. And I think the Texans were like, we know you're not running.
Mm-hmm.
He's still connected on some good passes down the field, but it was easier to hone in on Jonathan Taylor. And, a couple weeks ago, I said that the Packers at plus 300 were the team I picked to miss the playoffs. Should have been the Colts, man. Should have been the Colts. Obviously, it's easier to say now.
Yeah.
But factoring in, we knew CJ was coming back. We know you got the best unit. You're betting, like right now, right? You get plus 250 on the Texans to win the division. And the reason why I say that is you have the best unit in the division with that defense. And I think they're a buzzsaw, man. Defensively, they are absolutely ridiculous. And then let's not forget, CJ Stroud has won a playoff game in each of the last 2 seasons.
So that's a crazy stat. But yeah, it's true. He has the pedigree. The Davis Mills deserves some sort of award from Houston. The fucking carrier of the torch for that 4-week stretch in which we were starting to think. I mean, I even said it last week where it's like, do you even go back? Like you got to ride the hot hand right now. Mills was playing great. Comeback wins.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct about the defense. I'm upset about this game because it's just the futures that I have for the Colts. Like it's starting to catch fire in the worst way possible. Up in flames. It's over. If I'm being honest, like this, the drop off was so quick, and this was a very, very big game. I had taken them for my pick of the week -3.5, and they, embarrassed me.
I mean, bro, I'm gonna go one step further. I'm going to go one step further right now. I don't think the Colts win another game this year.
Fuck. Say the schedule.
At Jacksonville, at Seattle, home Niners, home Jaguars, at Houston.
Wow.
And this is only because Daniel Jones has a broken fucking leg. And it was very evident over the weekend. Then you look at the Texans schedule. Banger matchup this weekend, Sunday Night Football at Kansas City. Home Arizona, home Raiders, at the Chargers, home Colts. And then you look at the Jaguars schedule. Home Colts, home Jets, at Denver, at Indianapolis, home Titans. I'm betting on Houston, and I'm betting on the Jaguars if I have to make a bet. I think the Colts do not win another game the rest of the way, and they finish 8-9. And we're talking about odds and futures markets. JSN is now the
Front runner.
offensive player of the year favorite at -125. Jonathan Taylor's at -105. And then you got McCaffrey at 40-1. James Cook and Pickens at 75-1.
Wow.
And listen, let's be honest. I think JSN week to week, and I know he had a bad game over the weekend, did nothing because the defense just went fucking crazy. Best offensive player. He already set the franchise record in 11 games. He's been the best offensive player this year. So yeah, I think it's over for the Colts, man. And it sucks because they were such a good story. If Daniel Jones was healthy, I wouldn't feel this way. But watching that game, bro, because it was like that and the Rams game were in my 2 box. It was the 2 most important games in that early window. He don't look right.
Yeah.
He don't look right. I think the Colts are done. Sorry, bro.
It sucks, dude. It sucks. They don't have the pedigree yet to make me believe that they're gritty enough to make a comeback this season. Like, things were so good, but this is like being good in baseball in June. Like, nobody gives a fuck, bro.
Listen, bro. Yeah.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. Listen, you're talking to someone that fucking loves futures, right? Week 5, I'm cashing Bijan Robinson. Last week, I'm fantasy booking what I'm going to do with the Stafford money. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now, when I do have futures, I always talk about this. I like my odds to get closer to minus as we progress, which is why I'm not panicking with Stafford and the Rams. The Rams are still a Super Bowl favorite.
Yep.
By a significant margin, by $2. So I'm not panicking. We don't want what's happened with Bijan, where we got it down to -125, and now he's not even on the board. Right? We don't want that. But dude, futures, it's the same thing in fantasy football, right? Everyone's gearing up for fantasy football playoffs. Like, bro, you've been the best team. You need your team to withstand for 17 weeks. It's difficult. It's difficult. So when you do accomplish something, take victory laps, bro. It's hard to predict futures. And people don't like it because you got to give up money up front. I probably invested like close to 3.
Yeah, I was going to say.
$3,000 in futures?
I also, this year, after going heavy into futures, am just taking the winnings that I'm making and then just reinvesting into the futures market. Like, I just can't stop. I can't pull it out. You know what I mean? I'm like, given this circumstance at this point in time, and that's...
But, bro, also, the best thing about the futures is we identify spots throughout the year. Last year with the Rams, you with the Bucks last year. Now we got, you left it in, pause, with the Bengals stuff.
I'm so excited about that one.
I saw it when they lost that game to the Jets and MGM gave me the cash out for the same money. I'm like, yo, George, I'm pulling out, bro. I can't do it. And you let it ride. You son of a bitch. Now I like it. If you like it, I love it, like Mace would say. But that's the thing with futures, man. It's difficult. But there are certain spots. Like, I can't lie to you. I've been looking at Dallas. at 60-1. Because you gotta bet the numbers.
Yep. 60-1. Good number. I've hit that one before.
Excuse me.
You're battling right now. I am. Nick is battling, and you're doing good, dude.
Hanging in there. Just this cough, bro. This cough has been whooping my ass for like fucking couple
at
weeks
least 2
now.
weeks.
Yeah. But I went to the doctor today, and they were just like, just recovering from a cold, and then I found out other shit that I got to deal with.
Oh, you talk for a living? Well, that sucks, bro.
Yeah.
It's the one thing you can't do right now.
Yeah. What else would you like to discuss from the weekend?
I love when we're right about the toxic pick, which the toxic pick for me this year, 8-5-1. For you, it's 10-4. I think we are spot on with that team that you should not bet on. This week, it was the Falcons favorited against the Jets, and the Jets win outright. And it was all due to that one muff punt. Tyrod Taylor also, balling out down the stretch doesn't hurt. And I think that if you're a Jets fan, these are the types of wins that obviously it hurts your draft stock or the draft pick that you're going to get. But it's good for the outlook of what your team can be, because Mitchell got him a few weeks ago. He's going nuts. And I think that they're rallying behind Aaron Glenn. This team now 3-9, beat the Falcons. We got to witness a Kirk Cousins loss and a favoriting spot, and I loved it. Yeah. I loved watching that game come down to the end. Nick Folk is one of the funniest looking NFL players on planet Earth. Dude is just I've never seen a helmet like bend outward. His head is so fucking fat. The bottom of his helmet shoots out, and he's a kicker. Kickers should be allowed to not wear helmets. Yes, no? Like a no bucket, like old school hockey?
No, when I kicked in high school, I wanted to have the one bar.
Yeah.
But my coach was like, you're also the quarterback, so you can't have that. But I've changed my stance on something.
Okay.
And it happened this weekend, bro. Because I was watching the Jaguars and Titans game. 2 number 1 picks. I'm breaking news here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I'm down with losing on purpose anymore. I think the NFL draft is so fucking random. Like, you know what? Fuck it. You want to win in December? Be my guest. Because Trevor Lawrence was can't miss. Cam Ward wasn't Trevor Lawrence coming out, but fucking Sam Darnold was can't miss, and he struggled for 5-6 years. Bro, honestly, the more I watch it, you want to build something like Aaron Glenn, using him as an example, because like the locker room is getting fired up. Fans are still going to games. Put out a good product. I'm cool with it. I don't want to hear about generational talents anymore. Abdul Carter had to miss the first quarter because apparently, I don't know how true it is, but he was watching porn in the team meeting and he didn't have his headphones on.
Are you serious?
This was from a very credible beat writer on Twitter.
Wow.
So I posted about that. He was can't miss. He has no sacks this year. And then the other thing is like Puka, 5th rounder. Scadaboo, 4th rounder. Jackson Dart was not the first quarterback taken. Bo Nix was not the first quarterback taken. And I know I've been hard on Bo Nix, but you know what? They find ways to win. Yo, moving forward, bro, I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool because I'm tired of hearing about can't miss generational talent. And then they're nothing.
Yeah.
I'm cool. You want to win? Go ahead and win. I'm watching Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna win the division and probably not be on the Jaguars next year. And then you're watching Cam Ward. You're like, I'll give you a pass, bro. A lot of shit happening in Tennessee, but like, you don't know, man. And then Shador goes in the 6th round or 7th round, whatever round he went, 5th round, day 3 pick. Thought he looked competent again against the Niners. So I've just changed my stance. And don't get me started with the NBA. That's a fucking lottery.
Yeah.
So you were tanking for Wemby. Who got the pick? A team that wasn't in contention. And then especially last year with Cooper Flag. So you want to win, bro? Be my guest. That was my biggest takeaway from watching, bro.
Wow.
I think I'm done being like, nah, tank, I'll apologize to Tommy DeVito. I've said a lot of inappropriate things for you that would probably make me lose my job, but luckily I was in the comfort of my own home because he won those games that didn't matter. And then, you don't know. So I'm cool. You want to win? Go ahead and win. That's my rant.
I think that's a fair enough take. That's fair. I would still like to have some value. It does matter as far as trades are concerned, and you can fleece people if you're the ultimate businessman. But at that point, you are the worst franchise in the league. You gotta just take it. The generational talent shit comes from reporters like us calling people generational talents. And I mean, I haven't done it. Maybe for Taylor Green. I had a heart-to-heart. Talk about what we learned from this weekend. Having to analyze everything I've said about Taylor Green for Arkansas and realizing that he might not get drafted. It hurts me, but that's what we do. We build people up in our minds, and we get to see them destroyed in real time, all the time. You actually watched that Jaguars Titans game?
It was on one of the, yeah, because I bet the Jaguars. I didn't give it out as a pick, but I bet the Jaguars. I was just like, yo, listen, Titans are like 5-27 against the spread. But again, watching Trevor Lawrence, just head scratching, bro. I don't understand it. So to me, that's my new approach.
No more generational.
I'm cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm all right. Last thing I want to mention. Currently, NFL playoff picture. AFC top seeds. The Broncos.
Yeah.
Patriots, Jaguars, Ravens. Chargers, Colts, Bills if the playoffs were to end right now. Start right now. Bears, Rams, Eagles, Bucks, Seahawks, Packers, 49ers. Let me ask you this question. Of the two conferences, which one are you having more difficulty identifying who's going to go to the Super Bowl?
AFC. And the NFC, I think that the Rams have clearly established themselves as the mature buzzsaw that it's just a game planning nightmare across the board. They're star-studded. But in the AFC, Bo Nix has yet to earn full trust and responsibility. Drake May's the same way. I'm literally preaching that this Bengals team, just watch out now. Like, they dominated that game this past Thursday, and I think we're going to see it again in Buffalo. The same thing where, we're the reason why we don't know who's good in the AFC is because Joe Burrow just hasn't had a chance to let people know. And when he has, we were put on notice, and it was kind of undoubtable, undeniable. And now we get another chance to see it. But until then, in the AFC, bro, it's just fucking shits and giggles over there. Like every team, when it comes to playoff time, we're all going to be afraid of KC. We're all going to be afraid of Buffalo if they make it. But I don't think that fear is brought into people's hearts when you hear Bo Nix or Drake May in a crucial big time spot. And we saw it last night with Bo, that one play he threw a pick on to Bobby Wagner. That play, if you go back and you watch in the first quarter, he missed a wide open receiver in the middle of the field. And Dan Quinn outsmarted the young quarterback, drops Bobby into coverage. And those are the types of things in big spots that I just, I hold back any sort of wanting to buy into their stock.
Let me tell you something. So this could be archived. And if it happens, we can't pull out. Leave it in.
Leave it in.
That's what we're going to do. Let the Bengals make the playoffs as the 4 seed. And they play a Colts, Jaguars in the 4-5 matchup. Maybe Chargers. And then everything else goes chalk. You give me Joe Burrow in Denver as like a 6.5 point underdog.
Oh my God.
Because you know what I like to do? Quarterback versus quarterback. Let me just take the better QB. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. And then I'm looking at the NFC, same exact scenario. Same exact scenario. Imagine the Rams, maybe the Rams have a hiccup and they're a wild card team and they got to go to Chicago.
Come on. Come on, please.
Pants are coming off. The pants are coming off, baby. So I'm already looking at like spots.
Yeah.
You know, like, yo, give me this. We gotta blindly bet this if it happens. And to your point, like, listen, New England feels really good. You think they want to play a Buffalo in the playoffs? Nah.
Nope.
Nah. So, yeah, I was just curious because my answer is the same as yours. And bias aside, like, I don't bug out to losses as much as other people do. Now, a series of losses? Sure. But I still think the Rams are the best team. Look, right now, plus 450 to win the Super Bowl. Second favorite, Seattle, plus 850.
That's kind of crazy. They're putting that much stock into Seattle.
Yeah. And then you got Green Bay, Philadelphia. You don't get an AFC team until you get the Pats at 11-1. And then you want to hear something crazy? Buffalo is 11-1 also. And then you get your Denver. So, goes to show you, man, these sports books still think highly of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking it like that. You're like, bro, Josh Allen is going to be afraid to go into New England? He plays them twice a year.
Yeah.
He owns them. All right, they beat him this year. In division, third time, oh, give me that. So, just something, these sports books don't lie, right? Bears, top seed, 35-1 to win the Super Bowl. It might all go through Chicago. We don't give a fuck. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the NFC that have better odds than you. 2 of them might not even make the playoffs. So you got to look at the odds, man. You got to look at the odds. Okay, George.
Yeah.
Let's do a plug for the Patreon, patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. We are rolling. Patreon picks have been money. Over 20 units on anytime touchdown. Picks are above 500. And again, if you guys don't tune into the show because you're busy and life gets caught up, we post our picks in there as well. And then there's graphics on social media. You'll be able to find the picks and you get access to the Discord, all for $1 a month. All for $1 a month. My laptop died, so I don't have my laptop with me, but I promised to give a shout out. We got 8 new members.
Let's go.
3 of which pledged for the year. So I promise on the next episode, I will read you those names. And then on the next episode, we need to give a winner for week 12 and 13 in the pick contest.
Correct.
Because, last week I was sick and all that. So we do need to establish that. Join the free pick'em contest every week. Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. Okay, George, Monday winner. I think we both have hinted at it.
Yeah.
What is your Monday winner?
Bengals +6 at Buffalo. But I had told you that there was another one that I was in love with too. And it's the Bears 6.5 point favorites at Green Bay. I think everything is just a perfect storm for both of these teams. So those are my 2 Monday winners. It's going to be the Bengals. It's going to be the Bears as road underdogs to cover. What about you? Is it just the Bengals?
Yeah, I'm on Cincinnati as well. And then the other one that I think is, I got to play this just because I love him as an underdog. Chargers are 3.5 point underdogs at home Monday Night Football against Philly. Philly, popular team in LA. It's probably going to be 70-30 Eagles. But Eagles might be spiraling and you're catching them at a good time. So Bengals +6.
Yep.
I agree with you. And then also Chargers +3.5. Actually just went to +3, so the line is moving as we were talking on one of the sports books that I'm looking at.
Thursday Night Football pick.
Yes, Thursday Night Football pick. George, I am going to go with a doozy. I think St. Brown might be out because he got hurt.
Okay.
Give me your boy, Tesla,
Oh my.
to score a touchdown at +200.
Wow, his line has shifted so much this year. So much. This past weekend when he scored on Thanksgiving, He was at like plus 375, but even earlier on in the year, he was like plus 600. So it's cool to see one of the old Arkansas players working his way down. With Amon-Ra's health not being 100% certain, this Cowboys defense is really good at stopping the run. So I do think that we're going to see a version of Jared Goff that airs it out. My bet reflects something similar. It's Jahmyr Gibbs under 74.5 rushing yards. I think the Cowboys defense has figured it out in that department, and they're going to put a big emphasis on making sure number 0 stays bottled up. It's not sexy. We're cheering for 0 to get stopped. It's going to be miserable to watch, but under 74.5, especially with the way that Montgomery's got love this past week. I love it. That's my pick for Thursday Night Football.
Loser leaves time match, bro. This is a big game. This is a very big game. And for Thursday Night Football, both teams are coming off the same amount of time. They both played last Thursday. So this might be a really good Thursday Night Football game. And if you're looking at the stakes, the only other Thursday Night Football game, bro, that is like, holy fuck, is the Seattle game. They play the Rams, I believe, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, so you got Cowboys and Lions this week. Then you got Falcons at Bucks. Then you got Rams at Seahawks.
Wow.
And then you got, that's it. That's the last Thursday Night Football game.
Yeah, because they don't play one that final week, do they?
Yeah, week 17 and 18, they don't do that.
Nuts. That's going to be a good one. I had seen the total too set at 53.5.
Hold on. I made a mistake. Broncos actually play the Chiefs
on a Thursday.
It's Christmas night.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just made the correction there. So yeah, that's the last Thursday Night Football game.
Sick. Yeah, no, the total 53.5 in this Cowboys Lions game. If you take the under, I mean, like, God bless you, there might be 100 points scored in this game. I think defense is out the window and they're going to be just letting loose. I like the over. Toss that in there.
All right. Well, there you have it. Another episode of Veterans Minimum. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review on iTunes, Spotify. Leave a comment. Hit us in the comments on the You're Welcome Network. Follow us on all social media outlets at Veterans Minimum. At Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. George, where can they find you?
At Mr. George Carmona is where you can find me, and we will see you guys on Thursday.
One last thing to tease real quick. On the Thursday episode, breaking news to George, we're doing our Super Bowl draft.
Yes.
So we're going to have 5 picks each.
Okay.
To pick a Super Bowl. I would like you guys to give us what you think the power rankings should be. Hit us in the comments. Hit us in the Discord. Let us know what 10 teams can win the Super Bowl, and we're going to draft. So stay tuned for that. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.